I want to come in and ask you this, because I was waiting for you to actually reach the point at which you reach now, that citizens are losing interest in political parties. At the moment, the parties that we have, all 91 of them, are supposed to survive and be sustained by their membership. But even the big parties you mentioned, there's a question of how do you participate when you don't even know what's going on? Many of the citizens are not card-carrying members of those parties where they pay dues. So aren't we skipping a stage when we say, oh, well, we should actually bring people together to drive this process and participate and so on, when we haven't settled the issue of party formation and development first, before they can now drive these other things?
Well, that's the whole need to start engaging political parties. Just recently, in 2018 was when we had more groups actually go to observe party primaries. And then the report just showed that the primaries were a sham. Let's be honest and sincere with ourselves. Now, when you even want to talk of whether the indirect or direct primaries, when parties do not have credible list of members, now how do you even know those who have the right to engage within the party system? So within the parties already, we do not have institutionalized political parties that have a system and structure that engages from bottom top in every conversation of this, or decision making within the parties. So one, you have parties that can't even show you updated list of members. The other, you have parties who have wonderful constitution, but no one is there within the parties to ensure that the rules and guidelines provided in their constitutions are adhered to. What you have is decision taken by the money bags that basically control the parties. So you don't have members who can tell you we are card-carrying members, we pay our dues, and this is what we have. So just look at party conventions alone. So when people talk about elections, say the problem with our elections is beyond INEC. It goes to the parties. Party conventions alone, you would see the height of violence and disregard of their party guidelines on conventions. The primaries are their cases, and other cases too, another case altogether. Because what we've had over a period of time, with our long history of military and all of that, what we had were parties that at one point just formed basically, okay, this is a democracy, let us contest for power and let us take over and begin a civilian rule. Now that happened, but nothing was done in investing in building institutions of the political parties. And that is why people move, the fluidity within party membership. It's high because people move and change posts at any point in time. Once you're tired with your party, you move. If they don't give you tickets, you move. No, because we don't have that. We don't have parties that you can say, for this decision, party A will vote on this at this point in time. This is how they will vote. Party B will vote on this at this point in time. This is how they will vote. I'd like to give an example with South Africa. Now, if you look at the ANC, the DA, even before the EFF became the second major opposition, now when the EFF came, they were very, very critical. They said economic freedom. And for them, it was getting into the parliament, because they believed that from the parliament, you can start getting reforms and change. And they started challenging the ANC and their policies. Now, at any point in time, for every motion in the House, you can tell how the DA will vote, or the EFF will vote, or the ANC would vote. Now, that is because now parties, you can tell the ideologies at any point in time, and you can see at one point what these parties will stand for. And you go and engage with them. I was one of the municipal elections. Municipal, that's a local government elections in South Africa, in Limpopo. And the party agents of the EFF refused us to observe. Why? They had their electoral act. And they said, you do not have any tag. Yes, you're students, but we can't see any tag to allow you to observe. You must, and they are quoting their electoral act. Party agents were quoting electoral act. I was too marveled. And I thought about the party agents we deploy in Nigeria. How many of the party agents deployed will quote the electoral act and quote their party constitution and tell me what the law says on this particular issue? Now, that is lacking. But you see parties that consciously build and inform and educate their members to represent their interests at any point in time. Now, our political parties are not yet serious. Now, until political parties realize that it's not about being the national chairman and then deciding to contest for elections because of the national chairman, but it's about being an institution that your members are well informed to represent your interests at any point in time. Go and meet any party member, those that claim, ask them, what does their constitution say on this issue? You wouldn't have responses on that. Now, only for those of us that work on civil society issues or researchers, you see them talking and quoting constitutions of different parties. even among the party leadership, there is that large ignorance on what their party guidelines or procedures or constitutions even say on different issues. And that is why over a period of time, what we have are just parties with party names and logos. You cannot even say what is different between these parties because you have the same issues going on across board. At the primaries, we expected more from the newer parties that were registered or the newly formed parties. We felt at least we wanted to see a semblance of democratic process, internal democracy within those parties in their primaries. But what we saw was in most of these parties was just a replication of what you have seen in either the APC or the PDP or even in the SDP. And I'm asking, so what is the difference? Where is the alternative? What platform should citizens look up to and say, this platform represents our voice or represents our interest? So it begins with parties, the institutionalization, the fact that that is non-existent. And I believe for civil society, for media, for engagement in post-2019 elections, a lot of focus should be to political parties. I do not understand when parties say this is internal party affair, do not get into. No, there is nothing like internal party affair because you represent the citizens. And the moment you platform to produce leadership, it no longer becomes internal party affair. It becomes national interest because we know that you will be producing leaders, so we need to know what is happening within the parties. And it all begins with how we start engaging and demanding accountability from the parties themselves. Because what we have, unfortunately, if we do not start getting engaged and demanding accountability from political parties, we would still be where we are. Because the more you review the electoral laws or reform the process, the more parties look for new ways to manipulate the process. So break the laws, build the system, build the structure. Someone is there looking for ways to manipulate that, ways to ensure the law favors them and takes advantage of others.
All right, Cynthia.
So
Cynthia, I'll have to interrupt you here, Cynthia, because it looks like if we let you go, you'll continue going, and the other guests here might not have the room to weigh in before we have to go on a quick break. But Nora, the things she's talked about, the parties, I mean, building ideologies within the parties. Now, the registered voters in Nigeria, over 80 million, for instance.
That's the figure.
That's the figure. And registered voters in Nigeria. Of that population, less than 20% belong to political parties officially. Is it a question of not knowing the importance of belonging to a political party, or the fact that Nigerians I just want to be free so that I can vote on any platform I want, or is it because of the no ideology situation?
You know, she's painted what I might call a near perfect picture of the way things are. And it's almost, in quote, hopeless. But then again, in the midst of all that, you can then see opportunity. So, Nigeria is ripe for a Gandhi, for somebody who is not looking for power for the sake of power, for somebody whose interest, an Aminu Kano, a genuine interest in the people. That fellow can harvest these millions that you speak about. That fellow can start now, and people will begin to pay money to join the party, so that by 2023, he actually has enough numbers to summon. Are you getting it? The mistake that some of
without having to hold a rally.
Yeah. The challenge that some of the they were heavy on social media. They had no connection with those people. And both they and their followers all thought it was a game.
You know, bro, when we had this discussion with them, a lot of the older generation was saying social media does not win elections.
True.
And they came strong with the argument that no, they've been to universities, they've gone to schools for those who are 18 and above who can vote, and they had the promise from the youths who had a large number in terms of the population of those who can vote. And they thought they were going to really...
I wish those youth had contributed money to them. Then they would have called them their own. So really, if you ask me, again, we have as a people, we are very ad hoc, we want to start something on Monday that takes everybody else till Friday and get it done on Tuesday. It's Nigeria. Which is why we are short-circuiting the process of starting parties properly. So we've left out ideology. We just started from, name of our party is PPP, and from there, boom, power. All right? Which is what she's talking about. That They don't know the Constitution. So that nobody is taking time to build a proper foundation. So what I'm saying is that for anybody who is interested in becoming a politician or to hold power in 2023, this is the right time to start. And then you start properly. You see, Nigerians are not fools. There's a difference between being educated and being intelligent. You may not be educated, but you're not fools. You are seeing in some of the elections that the people know what they want. Are you getting it?
Mm-hmm.
The moment the people see a genuine politician whose interest is the good of the masses, they would rally. They would rally with their money, they will rally with their time, and they will volunteer themselves. So if you ask me, the hopelessness that, because if you look at it, you know, parties have failed us. Name it, you know, orientation agency have failed us. Security, we don't know what's happening there. You know what I mean? So it's almost like everywhere you turn, it's all dark and gloomy. I'm saying in the midst of that, there is huge opportunity. What has happened even in Western Europe, where people that didn't stand a chance, you know what I mean, are winning elections. I mean, the guy in Brazil, he didn't stand a chance, but he won the elections. I mean, for him, he knew how to use social media properly. You know what I mean? Yes. I mean, the Arab Spring was social media. I don't know if you're getting it. So these things work, but because we haven't taken the pains to understudy. So if you ask me, I would say that anybody who is really interested in making a difference in 2023, you have 60 million plus dormant supporters. Supporters who would support you the moment they can sense that you are genuine. You know, I mean, the other day it was in the news, some fellows who were supposed to be, you know, fighting for the masses come out to say, oh, well, they paid me, it was a 7-figure or 9-figure, you know, for my album. And I'm like, if that album is so great to earn 8 or 9 figures, it should be in Hollywood.